Hello everyone, thank you for coming back to this channel again. So I am currently on interview question number 10. So this is a very simple question, okay, and this is a question that I got asked and unfortunately I could not answer it in its entirety. So this question is, what is the difference between scalability and elasticity? Nothing else. It's a very simple question. I was asked by this at the very last round of a 4-round interview kind of for a startup, and I could answer this in a sense. I mean, it was more like a discussion, but neither me nor the interviewer is completely satisfied because I could not identify the difference as such. I was just saying something around the terms. So thing is, in cloud computing we always hear that okay, we are scalable, okay, the application needs to be scalable, but also we heard the application needs to be elastic. And if you see the NIST definition for cloud computing, it is actually, there is a term mentioned that out of the 5 or 6 requirements for something to be specified as a cloud, there are many requirements like self-provisioning and a lot of things, okay, pay as you go, self-service, but one of the is rapid elasticity. Okay, so scalability is not mentioned there, but elasticity is mentioned there. And the quick thing you need to understand is that for our design to be elastic, it has to be scalable also. So what is meant by scalability and elasticity? Say I have a server, okay, and I have a say for example a server with 2 CPUs, okay, and it can handle 100 users. Now 1000 use, now the number of users has increased to 1000, so I need to scale out, right? So what I can do, I can either make bigger CPUs, say for example from 4 vCPU to 8 vCPU, or I can increase the number of VMs. So it's either vertical scaling. Vertical scaling means increase the CPU size, kind of like make it a bigger machine, and horizontal scaling means you have a load balancer in front of it and you put more VMs behind it. So this is, everybody knows this, right? But the thing is that, is this automatic? Meaning, say for example the number of users again decreases, then does my machine, my system, my architecture automatically again reduces this? So this scale out and this scale in, is it happening based on my user demand? So that is elasticity. So scale out is scaling out, scale in is scaling in. So scaling we understand, right? Now elasticity you can consider as scaling based on scaling out or scaling in based on my actual demand. That is when I say my design is elastic. So just because my design is scalable, if I use cloud, obviously my design is scalable, right? I am using a VM, I can increase the size of the VM. Okay, so my design is scalable, but is it elastic? Is it happening automatically? Is it happening rapidly? So as you know, in the NIST definition is rapid elasticity. Okay, so is it happening very rapidly? Is it following the trend of my the load on my system, on my architecture? If it is high load, it needs to go high, the number of VMs or whatever number of containers or pods needs to increase. If the load is less, it needs to decrease. It is happening automatically. So that is elasticity. So this is a very small difference. So many people will use it interchangeably, and for your day-to-day work it's okay, right? I mean, when you are coding or you're implementing, no, you don't need to worry that much at that level, okay, what is scalability, but you need to understand that the design needs to be elastic. More than scalable, it needs to be elastic, meaning it needs to scale up when the requirement or the load is high, and again needs to scale down. So if you see, I have mentioned some references here. So one of the references that, okay, so if you see this reference, so you can see this one, okay, so see, this is under provisioning. You have under provision, so you have outages and stuff like that. Now you have over provision, this is okay. So now you are scaling out, but you are doing it not automatically, okay? So this is scaling, no elasticity. You have scaled out, you have scaled in, but no elasticity. And this is scaling with elasticity. Everything is happening based on your user requirements, okay? So you can see here is very well written that our system's ability to scale is fundamental, but it is different from my system's ability to quickly respond or be elastic to the demand on the resource. Being able to scale has no implications about how fast your system responds to changing demands. Being elastic, on the other hand, especially in the context of cloud computing, requires that the scaling occur rapidly in response to changing demands. A system that exhibits true cloud elasticity will need to have scalability, obviously, but also will likely be automated to avoid the toil of manual action and to take advantage of the responsiveness provided by the computer aided process. Also here, if you see this one, there is a very nice mention here. See, in the 2011 NIST cloud computing definition, cloud elasticity is listed as a fundamental characteristic of cloud computing, while scalability is not. Actually, what is mentioned in the definition is that a system to be mentioned as cloud, it has to be rapidly elastic. Rapid elasticity. Capabilities can be elastically provisioned, this is scaling out, and elastically released, meaning scaling in some cases automatically, to scale rapidly outward and inward, commensurate or in aligned with the demand. To the consumer, the capabilities available for provisioning often appear to be unlimited and can be appropriated in any quantity at any time. So see the idea again. I am again trying to mention this and close everything together. Okay, this is very simple. We don't need to discuss this in much more detail than what it is. Okay. Your system is scalable because means it can scale out, it can scale in. But can it do based on user demand? If yes, then it's elastic also. And how do we normally put elasticity? For example, Kubernetes workloads are elastic. You can put an horizontal auto-scaling pod, horizontal pod autoscaler or cluster autoscaler. In VM, you have the autoscaling groups. So there are many ways you can do this elastic, but elasticity is mostly like your system should be able to respond or scale out or scale in based on the demand, aligned with your demand. So thank you guys. Again, this was something that I was actually asked and I could not explain it because at that time this distinction was not that clear to me also, very frankly. So I got this knowledge later and that is why I am sharing this with you. And this series is more about like this, questions that I have been asked, questions that my friends and other architects have been asked. I'm trying to find their correct answers and then sharing with them so that if in future you get asked it, you can answer it correctly. Thank you and have a nice day.